Hello, so let's do a new video. I'm not really doing phones anymore, only for video purposes. So because last video we had was about the charging circuit on iPhone 15 and up, so the iPhones that have a USB-C connector. This one will be for the iPhones with the lightning connector up to 14 series, right? So we have here an iPhone 14 Pro, I think it is. Yeah, I'm gonna power this on, and you're gonna see that this phone has issues with charging. I understand that this phone was initially coming to a service repair shop because it was reporting 1% battery or 0% battery, and they replaced the battery, and then they noticed that the phone is not actually charging. But I have here another phone that we're gonna use for some testing, but now I want you to see what's going on with this one if we try to plug it to the USB-C charger, right? And the charger is right here. This is the lightning connector, so remember this one has already a resistor or something on the CC line that pulls the line down, and it's an active cable, meaning that it's always providing 5 volts. That's why you see there 5 volts already. So if I plug this in, yeah, there is nothing showing here a charging sign, but as you see, it's showing like 1 milliamp current draw. Now, very fast, let's also use the oscilloscope. 1 second. Yeah, so we have the oscilloscope on the screen. So if you haven't watched my previous videos about USB PD negotiation and the previous video on the charging circuit for iPhones, watch them, because I'm not gonna explain again how it works. So you see here on the display we can see the oscilloscope screen. The yellow line is the CC line that is connected to this cable, and the blue line is the V-bus line, which is 5 volt now. Let me move the digital voltmeter. Digital, where are you? Here, digital voltmeter. I'm gonna set it to channel 2 so we can see the V-bus line, right? And we can see now we have 5 volt on the line. It says on the oscilloscope, and it also says here, right? And if I connect this cable to the phone, you see that absolutely nothing is happening. We should see the CC line bouncing back up, then again down, and then we should see some sort of a communication. So let's have a look on a good working phone. So this is a good working phone. I'm gonna plug it. See, there is communication. V-bus is at 5 volt now, and now it has raised to 9 volts because the phone was requesting it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it once more. See, there is absolutely no communication now. And now we're gonna have the source capabilities, and we're gonna have, see, the phone requesting 9 volt, and it has raised the voltage. Now, what does this mean? It means that this phone here has a problem for now with Kraken, yeah, with the USB chip. What you saw there was from the charger, not from the phone. See, there is absolutely no communication over here. Now let's understand how this all this works. So this is the basically the diagram of the charging circuit on iPhones up to 14 series, right? We have from the yeah, you can see my cursor. So we have here the connector where the charging port comes to, and it delivers 5 volts on the PPV bus E75 line, right? And this goes into Tigris. Tigris is the charging IC. The charging IC chip is sending the PPVAR USB RVPR, or a line known as RVP for short, is sending on the RVP line 5 volt through a 10 ohm resistor that will arrive into the Kraken chip, or Hydra, or U2, or however you want to call it. This one will speak to the charger, will negotiate the power. As you saw on the good working phone, it has requested 9 volt, and then it will send a charger VBus valid low 1.8. So as you can see here, this is how the line looks. The moment Hydra agrees that the charger is okay and can push current, it's gonna drop this line low, and that moment Tigris will start to switch its charging coils, and the switching looks like something like this, yeah, and then it starts to charge the battery. Now what about this phone? So this phone, how do we diagnose first what the culprit could be? First, we saw there is no communication, and usually when we have here like 1 milliamp like this, usually that indicates that it's a Kraken issue. So you don't really need an oscilloscope for that, you can figure this out. But you can do another test. You can put the phone on a wireless charger, right? My wireless charger is right there in the back. I'm not in the mood of getting it here, but I can tell you what happens when I put it on the charger. It appears as charging, so it shows the charging symbol here, but it's not drawing any current from the wireless charger, thus telling me that actually there's a problem also with the charging IC, because the wireless charging circuit bypasses completely the Hydra Kraken chip. So the USB chip has nothing to do into this charging type like wireless. Good. Okay, so we were speaking about the RVP line. So if that RVP line is being pulled down, it means that our Hydra is not getting the signal that it requires. Now, because our phone is not charging using the wireless charger, I always assumed that it might have a problem with the charging IC itself, right? So let's have a look at the microscope, because I have split the boards. I just want to look around to see if there are any shorts between the pads, so we can test it further. Good. I see nothing out of the ordinary. Now if we look on the board view, the RVP line is here, the third resistor, right? So as I showed you, I should get 5 volt from here through the resistor going to the Kraken, and this resistor is actually a 10 ohms resistor. Good. So let's see if we have a problem with on that line. So I'm gonna take the multimeter. You can see the multimeter up on the upper left corner where it says open. It is in diode mode. So let's probe that resistor, and we see this is not normal, 0.900, and on the other side is 0.1, meaning that the problem is most likely on this pad that has a lower value, right? The resistor is 10 ohms, so if I have here 0.1 voltage drop and here 0.09, I assume that the problem is here on the lower side of the resistor. So if I click this side, yeah, it takes me to the charging IC. Okay, let's remove first that charging IC, and we'll see if the line comes back up or not. So go back to microscope. Let me fire up the hot air. Yeah, so I'm just gonna use the drop method. So because I have shaky hands, I'm not keeping this in a holder. I'm just gonna keep it raised like this, and when the solder will melt, the bolt will drop like this, see? And I didn't move anything. Now the orientation was lower left. So lower left is here. Good. I have no I really have no shorts there. So let's try it now and see the RVP line. How does it look? Yeah, and you see it's a completely different story. We have 0.4 on this side and 0.4 on the other side. So this line was actually drawing our chip down. Now let's prepare the board for a new chip, meaning that I am going to wick this. So I'm gonna add some flux. Oh my god, this is so dirty. Add some flux. I'm gonna add some low meltish. Yeah, so it is fairly correct to assume now that we have only a problem here with this chip, and it was pulling our RVP line low. That's why our Kraken wasn't negotiating, talking, or anything. So I don't really believe that the problem is with the USB IC. I think the problem is just with this this charging IC. But we're gonna see in a moment when we're gonna have another one in place. The board fell down, but that's no problem. Okay, so this is wicked. That's okay. Now give me a second. I'm gonna pause the video because I'm gonna search for a donor board to get a donor IC. Okay, so I found a board that is actually missing the CPU, but there's no problem. It's not the CPU we want, it's this chip here. Unfortunately, I think this has been worked on before. I see a crack there on the... I hope it's good, but we're gonna see. Yeah. So let's get it off. Oh yes, this has been reballed because it came off really easy. Oh la la. I'm running a bit short on chips actually, on donor boards actually, not on chips. And that's a bit of a problem. Well, it's not a bit of a problem anymore because, as I said, I kind of gave up working on phones because I don't really have the time. The diagnostic, as you see, is quite small, like you diagnose it very fast, and then I have to lose like 1 hour to prep the boards, reball the boards, split the boards, put it back together. Then you have issues that you have no reception, no baseband, no, because yeah, I really hate working on phones lately. I like it from the diagnostic perspective, but I fulfill my my diagnostic needs on laptops and MacBooks. Yeah, they're also quite challenging, especially the MacBooks. There is not such a great repair success rate on laptops as they are on phones, because on phones I think I get over 90% success rate, to be honest. Is this the correct one? No. I don't have at hand and I'm lazy to look. I don't have a stencil for 14. This is a 13, but I think the chip is the same size. Good. Now let's make some balls. I need some paper towel because This paste is a bit too wet for reballing. I think now it's good. Let's apply some paste like this, very nice. Good, I'm gonna put this aside for now and let's give it some hot air. You can be very gently, like 330, 30 air, doing the reballing. Chip is fresh, solder is fresh. It's 183 solder, so it should work quite fast. We also preserve our chip, so no problems there. Good, we have the balls formed. I'm gonna clean the stencil just a tiny bit, so we have it prepared here for the next repair. Yeah, this one I'm gonna reflow again, so the balls will sit tight. I have so much dirt on these tweezers, it's really annoying. Okay, so balls are kind of clean, not very. Yeah, but that's it. I'm gonna give it some flux. Good, and let's solder it on our board. And it should be like exactly like this. Yeah. Well, maybe this is good, I don't know. Let's see, it should pull itself down. I just hope this is a good chip. Good. So now let me fire up back the scope, and I'm gonna move here under the top light, top camera. So I have the phone back together. It is already powered on. Boards are soldered back, so we see we have a reception. That is good. I don't have the code for the passcode for the phone. Let's see what's going on if we're charging. Let me move the digital voltmeter to channel 2 so we can see the voltage that is coming now. So now the wire has 5 volts. As you see, the blue line is 5 volts. You can see it in the digital voltmeter. We can also see it right here. Good, so I'm gonna connect the cable. Yeah, and we see communication already. Phone says it's charging, and it has negotiated to 9 volts, so we have a bit of a loss. Phone shows charging sign, and we can see the charging current. It's fine. We have 9 volts, 700 milliamps, and it is all good. Yeah, so this was a very interesting repair. You saw what happened with the RVP line. It goes down, the Kraken doesn't get power, and it doesn't negotiate, and it doesn't speak to the charger anymore, and it doesn't give the signal to the charging IC to actually start the charging. Good. So that was it. Give me a like, subscribe if you didn't already, and see you next time. Bye for now.